All right, and welcome back to the locker room. Once again, joined by your host Greg and my two main bros here today, helping me out with this again, Tyler Croome and Chris.
How's it going, guys?
Well, living the dream per usual. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty peachy.
I'm really dreaming about that homemade lasagna that I need to celebrate because I got that new job at the car dealership, so I'm pretty stoked for that.
Congrats.
That's right. That's good for you. Congrats on that.
Huge
Thanks,
high.
Chris.
Let's go.
So Tracy,
When are you selling me a car?
When you pay your dad back for your truck that you ran into a tree.
All right, I'm just gonna leave this real quick. All right, thanks for watching the episode, guys. Have a good night. All right, so a couple things we have on the topics today. We're going to talk about Alberta giving the WHL the green light. Who follows? We're going to talk about Lafreniere, his first goal and all that. What about Ottawa's performances so far?
Well, first, let's start off with Alberta giving the Western Hockey League a green light to play their 24-game schedule this year. Obviously, that's something that's been rumored to happen for basically this last month. Alberta's the first to do it. Chris, is Bonnie Hendry and BC following suit, or are we going to be on the back burner again when it comes to trying to get the season going?
Sounds like if you ask me.
Honestly, probably the back burner. I know how our BC government works. We're definitely not the same as Alberta, that's for sure.
No, not at all.
I think the only way we could do it is maybe a bubble situation if we do want to put something together and maybe have the 5 American teams come up here and play as well in BC, because we're not going to be able to do that. That's not going to work at all with having them down in the States playing their home arenas or anything like that. We could do that. I'm glad Alberta at least got the start. That's a start we needed, because we were sitting there for a while where it's going to be a 26-game season. And then it would kind of just went quiet. There was nothing we heard of. There was nothing after that in the works. So we were kind of sitting there like, they're just saying this, and we're not going to get any, WHL hockey this year. So it's looking promising now. We obviously need to get the go-ahead from the BC government, and then I believe Saskatchewan too. I don't think
Manitoba as well.
In Manitoba as well with Brandon and then Winnipeg. So hopefully we get the go-ahead on that, but. It definitely won't be the same as Alberta for sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely funny how quick Alberta was to make that decision. It doesn't surprise me that they were, but I don't think we're going to see a problem with Saskatchewan and Manitoba doing it. I think Saskatchewan's been getting a lot of backing from businesses there and governments to fund their leagues and teams to play, because they see the importance of it. So that's only a matter of time. But I'm really hoping that Bonnie Hendry can also follow their lead and allow it, because we got to have some hockey. These players need to play and develop, right? So hopefully we can see that.
You see Tyler walking around the streets, and I'm pretty sure he's got like this twitch going on. He's itching for some hockey here.
It's actually a very, very proven fact. I saw a doctor about this. The longer I go without being at a hockey game, my Tourette's get increasingly worse. It's detrimental.
It's terminal,
Oh, it is terminal. It's like terminal cancer. It just doesn't go away.
What about Lafreniere? How was his first goal and all that sort of stuff? How did you guys think that was?
I know Chris saw it, so I'm going to give this one to Chris.
Lafreniere's first goal. It was nice. 2-on-1. I believe it was Blackwell. So puck center ice, went in on a 2-on-1, sauced it over to him, top shelf. Nice goal. He's pretty hyped up about it. Obviously, you're first in the NHL. Can't get more hype than that. Obviously, if there's fans in the stands, obviously scoring the OT winner on the road, silencing everyone, pissing off 18,000 fans for your first NHL goal to send them home and not happy. You can't get anything better than that. That's why I always say winning the Stanley Cup on the road is the best thing you can do, because then you're sending 18 to 20,000 people home really mad. So you can't go wrong with that. But it's definitely the first of many to come for Alexei. I hope he keeps it going, because he hasn't had obviously the best start in the world, but it was only 6-7 games in, so there's nothing really to worry about it. I know, Tyler, you were hearing a bunch of rumors about people saying he's a bust and stuff.
Yeah,
pretty dumb.
I've been following on Twitter and Facebook, right? So a lot of these little comment sections, people are like, "Oh, I thought Lafreniere was going to be like this next big thing. Oh, he hasn't put up a point yet. Oh, he's going to be a bust." And it's like, okay, well, he's 19. It's his first year in the league. We're not even 10 games into the season. I also brought up the point, like, how much ice time do you think he's had to practice this year?
Probably next to none.
Not
Welcome
much.
to 2020/2021. COVID-19's a thing, guys.
Yeah. So, and this is partly why I think, and I do think New York should have really sent him to the World Juniors, just for the fact that, if he played there, I mean, he would have been ready to play for the year, right? He would have gotten all those games under his belt, and he wouldn't be coming in cold to start the year, right? So that's something that probably could have happened. But overall, I'm really happy for him. I'm glad they got that goal. It was really nice. I mean, we've seen him score a couple of those for Team Canada in the past. So, he's definitely back to form. And hopefully this is, the floodgates are going to open up after this.
Yeah, totally.
100% agree.
What do you guys think about some performances in the NHL so far? I'm pretty sure that people are just excited about how well Ottawa is doing right now.
Okay, I've got a story for this. So I'm friends with an Ottawa Senators fan on Facebook.
All right, gotcha.
Now, at the beginning of the year, he's like, I'm really excited for the Ottawa Senators this year. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people, and they'll be in a playoff spot. And I'll bite. I did agree with him. He brought up some good points, and they did have some pieces there. It's still an early season. It's possible that it could happen, right, if they start to click and things start to get rolling. I mean, we saw how quickly the Canucks turned things around this last week.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there, but his tune definitely changed after 5 of their last, I think it was 8 games now that they've played. And so he's pretty disgruntled, and I'm sure every Ottawa fan is, right?
Oh,
because
100%.
They've had a few bad years, and I think they were hoping that this year would be a new story. They've had some good moments, but then they've also lost quite a few games. I think they've only got 1 win right now. So overall, I think they're definitely underperforming for what they could be achieving right now.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think you nailed that on the head. 1 win for Ottawa. It felt like they were just giving away free wins to the Canucks, honestly. That's sending them on a really good track. That's the kind of what Vancouver needed.
Yeah.
They hadn't been playing well at all. So, I mean, Elias Pettersson was basically invisible before their 3-game series against Ottawa. So now he's got his confidence up. Whole Vancouver team does. So that's definitely going to help them out. Sorry, and yeah, but let's see about Ottawa. I'm not 100% sure who they get next on the schedule, but they're gonna have to turn it around if they want any chance at doing anything, because it's not an 82-game season. So
definitely not.
It's more of a sprint than a marathon this year. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, definitely not off to the best start in the world for them.
Fair enough.
No.
Speaking of good starts, what about Dallas? What do you guys think about Dallas and how their 2 7-goal games have gone so far?
Okay,
Tyler, I'm pretty sure you're pretty excited to take this one away to start.
Dallas,
big old grin right there. Look at that big old grin.
Dallas has looked awesome, and you know what? Like, they have had key injuries to start the season, and then very early on in the first game, they lost Jamie Benn to an injury. So very important top 4 player. Top 6. Then Rupe Hintz is out. He was driving play. He was on fire to start the year. So we lost 2 top 6 players for the lineup. So we have guys like Tanner Caro. He's playing on that second line, and like, he's a career AHL guy. So I wasn't sure how they were going to continue in the last 2 games after that, but they've looked excellent. And sure, you could say they were playing Detroit. But given the fact of the lack of depth we had going in, Dallas still kept things together, and goaltending's been hot, and now the Stars are 4-0.
Yeah, Dallas has looked. They look good. They've scored a lot of goals. They've got the puck out of their net, so that's all you can really ask.
True.
Tyler, I know we're discussing this yesterday. Okay, yeah, Carolina. So they get Carolina next for a little series with them. We'll see if they can keep it up. Let's see if their depth can continue to score, put up numbers for them, and then their defense has been doing well as well. So, I mean, if they can keep it up against Carolina, that'll be really solid, because that's one of the teams they're going to be fighting against come playoff time. So, yeah, we'll have to see what happens, because obviously people will say, "Oh, they just beat Detroit." Well, what are they supposed to do? Lose to them? You know what I'm saying? You got to get those wins against teams like that. You can't take them lightly, or else you will start losing, and that's where you lose ground in the standings. So
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's a big 4-0 start for them after starting the season not playing at all. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and early momentum is key, right? Especially in such a short and condensed schedule. Like
Definitely for sure.
the longer they can keep this going, I think the better the chances are of potentially clinching a playoff spot in next month.
Yep. No, that's definitely some key things. Definitely for sure. Yeah. The thing I forgot to mention, we have coming up next is the fantasy hockey. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, of course. Of course, Chris, take us away with your part of the show. Give us what it is. What's new in the fantasy hockey world?
Fantasy hockey world. Well, I think the usual suspects are back at it again. We're looking in the Canadian division to start. Matthews and Mitch Marner have been extremely good for Toronto lately on their hot streak. So they're back to form, so to speak. So that's good to see for Leafs fans. Leon and Connor in Edmonton are putting up all the points for them as of right now. So they're doing their usual thing over in Edmonton. So well, if you're an Oilers fan, that's obviously good to see. You don't want to see them slumping at all, but obviously you're going to need that secondary scoring to do anything. But another team and another player is Anze Kopitar for the LA Kings. LA has been surprisingly good. I believe they're 500. Let me just check. Yeah, they're 500. 3-3-2, 8 points, 1 point out of a playoff spot behind St. Louis in the West Division. So Anze Kopitar has been really good driving the LA Kings to that record. And who knows, maybe LA can surprise a couple teams and maybe get that fourth spot in that West Division. So yeah, Anze Kopitar has been very good so far for the LA Kings. Tyler, you got anybody that's been taking your eye?
Yeah, so one guy that's really caught my eye, and obviously it's a Dallas Stars player, so don't shoot me, but Dennis Gurianov. He really found his game in the playoffs last year. He was scoring at a pretty high rate, and he's just continued on into this year, and he's getting a lot of power play goals as well. So, I mean, I don't know how many teams have picked him up by now, but if he's available in your pool, I would 100% pick him up if you want power play goals and a goal scorer who could, I think, potentially almost cap out at 30 in a shortened season. No, he's your man. Tampa Bay's had a couple of games postponed as of late. They just started back up yesterday. So Anthony Cirelli is another guy that I think if you're needing some center depth in your pool, I think you got to pick up Anthony Cirelli. We're talking about Florida teams, Carter Verhaeghe with the Florida Panthers. So you know what? He was a bottom 6 player for the Tampa Bay Lightning last year. And actually, more often than not, I think he was a scratch, if I don't remember.
Yeah, I know you're right.
Yeah, so he was a scratch. So he was a guy I thought was just going to be a depth signing for Florida this year. He's become a mainstay in the top 6, and I think he actually is leading the team in goals right now.
Really?
Yeah. So if Verhaeghe's available in your pool, I think you need to take Carter Verhaeghe as well. And then as far as goalies go, Chris Driedger in Florida as well. I think he's looked excellent. What are your thoughts on Driedger, Chris?
Yeah, he's been good. He's definitely not one of those big name goalies we've talked about at the start of the season. But Florida's look not too bad. So the fact that he's been able to play well has definitely been able to help their team's success. And I have nothing bad to say about him, as he's been doing very well.
Yeah, and even like watching the highlights of last night's game, the goals that were let in, you can't really fault him on any of them, right? So, and he's a big goalie. He's a big goalie. He has great lateral movement, and he's going to make those saves. And as long as Florida's defense doesn't completely fall apart, I think, he's a potential waiver steal.
That's fair.
Another thing about Florida's goaltending, you guys seen the Alexander Texier shootout goal by any chance?
Oh, that was filthy. I was watching that play out. I think I watched it like 8 times over last night.
Yeah, I was on my edge of my seat after that one.
Yeah, no, that was nice. I haven't really. You don't really expect that just to straight up go one-handed between the legs. So that was pretty sweet for sure.
And speaking of Texier, he's really broke out this year so far. I know he showed glimpses of it last season. You know, he was pretty solid in the playoffs, but he's just taking huge steps forward heading into this year.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
What are some people that you think are kind of on the downstream right now? People you think for the fantasies that if you're wanting to do some trades, who would be some good people to trade if you have them?
Good one.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question.
I think I got these guys stumped with this question. I pulled up a.
Well, it's funny because like I don't often think about it too much.
No, you don't.
Especially when my team's doing good. Let me take a look for reference. Unfortunately, Tim Stutzel. He he was injured for a couple of games. He's come back and he's played 2 games now. He hasn't quite looked like he did at the start of the year. I'm currently still holding on to him because I don't want to give up a promising young player too early. But I think if we have another week of him slumping, he's a guy that I'm going to drop. On my Yahoo app, 10%. He's been dropped by 10% of the 26% people who have rostered him. For fantasy. So yeah, that's one guy that I can think of right now for reference.
I got another guy.
Yep.
Who you got?
Evgeny Malkin out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's been surprisingly bad this year.
He only has 3 points in 8 games. And I looked at Crosby's numbers too, and he's got 7 and 8. So Crosby, it's not been Crosby, it's been Malkin who's been slumping and hasn't been playing well.
And Malkin, I believe, is also a minus player too, right now.
-3.
-3, yeah. So, I mean, I'm a little surprised by that. Did you expect Malkin to slump this early?
No, you always expect him to put up numbers regardless of what's going on in Pittsburgh. They're normally their top end players, Gensel, Crosby, and Malkin aren't the issue.
Right.
Most of the time, Pittsburgh obviously can change, but it's normally not those guys who are the issue. But right now, Evgeny Malkin is not putting up the same numbers as he's used to and accustomed to in his career.
Absolutely. I would say some other guys are like kind of on the downturn right now. I'd say Riley Smith from Vegas. I'm just looking through the app here on who's being dropped. Obviously Evgeny Dadonov from Ottawa. Ryan
hasn't
Ellis.
done anything.
No, he's done jack shit. Like he's been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Ellis from Nashville. Jeff Carter had a hot streak to start, and he's completely cooled off. He's cold as ice. So if you have Carter, you might want to drop him. Brock Nelson, Chris Kreider. Let's see. Andre Palat. Those are the big ones that I think are notable that teams will have rostered. Thomas Hurdle as well. He's been really slowing down. And then I think, those are the big ones that have really started to tail off. I don't think there's anyone else that I'm forgetting.
I haven't really thought of it. Obviously, we don't really think about who's on the downturn unless they're obviously on your team. But for next week's episode, we're definitely going to look more into that and give you guys some guys that if you have them, probably drop them as give you that info, and we'll be more ready to go on that. But yeah, those are definitely some of the guys that we have noticed, and we'll try to give you a bigger list next time on who we think is on the downturn for sure.
Absolutely.
Good to know. Well, any other information we think we should know of put in for the fantasy drafts?
I think we're looking pretty good. I don't think there's been a massive surprise or a massive downturn by any one team that we haven't already discussed so far, or anyone who's really been surprising out of the gate that we haven't really touched on. So obviously keep your eyes on things, but I guess a couple things we'll look at is we kind of wrote off the West Division in that bottom half. I know I already discussed LA, but definitely keep your eye on some of those other West teams because they haven't been as bad as we kind of originally thought. So the West Division, I would keep in consideration all 8 teams, not just the top 3 or 4 in the West for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. With that, we have to move on to our hockey trivia. We have another 10 questions for you guys today. 10 questions for you guys today. See what you guys can move on to. Maybe I won't butcher some names like I did last time.
Hey.
Jonathan Toews. Gordie Howe.
Gordie Howe is my boy. He's my favorite hockey player. Don't you know?
Yeah, if you're watching The Simpsons.
That's my boy. All right, question we have here to start off is which player won NHL Rookie of the Year at age 31? We have Evgeny Nabokov. We have Sergei Makarov, Jim McFadden, and Tony Esposito.
What was the question again?
Which player won the NHL Rookie of the Year at age 31?
Nabokov. No, it's not Nabokov. Is it?
Evgeny Makarov.
Makarov. Okay, yeah. I think
B. I'm going B.
Indeed. Chris with the win here on this one.
Let's go.
Nice.
Was on the
I just
gold-winning
think-
Soviet national ice hockey team in the World Championships in 1978, 79, 81, 82, 83, 86, 89, 1990. Indeed. That's a lot of years.
Yeah,
In
kidding.
89, he was allowed the Soviet Union to join the National Hockey League in Calgary Flames, winning the Calder Memory Trophy as a Rookie of the Year at age 31. As a result, a new rule was introduced, the Makarov rule, so that only players under 26 qualify for the award.
I figured it would be a Russian just knowing what with Kaprizov and stuff this year. So yeah.
Well, I'm just picturing right now, you're at the NHL awards and like you've got all your hot shot, like 19, 20, 21-year-old rookies, and you got your 31-year-old man right beside him. And
Yeah.
And he's the guy that wins.
The man that's walking around with the cane, you know?
Oh yeah, he's already got a busted knee, and he's like,
Yeah, he
making his
got
way
the
up
busted
stage.
knees walking around with the cane.
Oh boy.
All right, the next one we got here is what was the longest shootout in NHL history? We got 16 rounds, 14 rounds, 18 rounds, or 20 rounds.
20.
I don't fucking know. 20. I'm just guessing. The first thing that comes to mind is the American League shootout for me.
Yeah,
When you're talking about longest shootouts, that's the first thing that comes to my head. But,
between the legs.
yeah, and then just the Sally too.
The fact that he's like just big brute of a defenseman that like never puts up points or like never scores, and he pulls that out of his ass.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. The correct answer is, in fact, 20 rounds. On December 16th, let me try that again. My goodness. On December 16th, 2014, Nick Bjugstad. I probably knew I would get that wrong. I knew I'd get it wrong. That's why I put it.
Big Bjugstad.
That was so bad. Bjugstad. Like
Big Jugstad.
Okay,
My boy,
okay.
Big Jugstad.
We're just gonna call him Juggy.
Yeah,
All right,
Big
Jug
Jug.
boy. Big Jug boy himself scored the game-winning goal in the longest shootout of NHL history to lift the Florida Panthers over Washington Capitals 2-1.
Big Jug.
Mr. Big Jug himself. His goal came in at the 20th round, beating Braden Holtby on the right side. The previous record was 15 rounds.
Oh my goodness.
Who was the oldest man ever to coach the NHL game? Scotty Bowman, Al Arbor, Art Ross, or Glenn Sather?
I want to say it might be Al Arbor.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah, let's go with
Because I
that.
know that. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. But in the back of my head, I'm kind of thinking Scotty Bowman. But I'm gonna go Al Arbor.
Well, it could even potentially be Art Ross.
It could, yeah.
But let's go with Arbor.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Arbor?
Walk it in.
You guys are correct. Because on
Hey.
November
There we go.
3rd, 2007, legendary New York Islanders coach Al himself came out of retirement for one night to coach his 1500th game for the Islanders.
That's
At age 75, he became the oldest man ever to coach an NHL Hockey League game.
That's actually really cool. Actually, like comes out for one last final frontier.
Just got to round it up to that 1500, you know, casually.
It's a milestone, so I don't blame
True.
him for wanting to do it.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't either. The Islanders beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-2, giving Arbor his 740th win. He was the only coach in NHL history to coach this many games for the same team. Okay, next question we got for you guys is who was the first woman to get her name on the Stanley Cup? Marian Ilitch, Sonia Scurfield, Margaret Norris, and Marie Dennis DeBartolo.
I have no idea. I didn't even know a woman had her name on the cup.
All I knew was this year one of the American coaches got a gold medal at the World Juniors. It was what the fuck was her last name? Feaster was her last name. I know that, but I don't about the Stanley Cup. I have no idea, dude.
Yeah, I got no idea. Let's go with just tell us. I don't care. I don't even know.
Give me the options.
You want to throw it?
I'm gonna pick the name.
Marian Illich, Sonia Scurfield, Margaret Norris, or Marie Dennis DeBartolo.
DeBartolo. I just like the name. I'm gonna go with that.
Was it Scurfield? Was one of the options?
Yeah.
Scurfield was an option. Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's go with her.
You guys are both incorrect. Actually,
Of
it was
course.
Margaret Norris. Very fancy way of spelling it. Actually, it's Marguerite.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
I guess so. Margaret Norris became president of the Detroit Red Wings after her father, James E. Norris, died in 1952, making her the first female chief executive in NHL history. She also became the first woman to have her name engraved on the Stanley Cup when the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup both in 1954 and the 55 seasons.
Nice.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
Like, I'll take it.
Take it.
What I do to deserve my name on the Stanley Cup? Absolutely nothing. Anyways, on to the next one. Who's the shortest player in NHL history? Darren Pang, Robbie Moore, Roy Waters, or Nathan Gerbe?
Darren Pang. Isn't that the guy on TSN?
Yeah, I think so.
Or no, NBC, isn't it?
He's on one of them.
He's on one of them. Yeah,
No,
I don't know.
He's short. I think it is him because I think he's like 5'4" or something like that.
I'm going Darren Pang just because why not? I mean, I know Nathan Gerbe's small too, but I don't think he's that small.
No, Gerbe's 5'5" or 5'6". So
Yeah.
All right, you guys both locking in on Pang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could say we're going out with a pang.
Going out with a bang. You guys are both going out with a pang indeed, as you guys are both wrong, because Roy Waters, the Hall of Fame goaltender himself, Roy Shrimp Waters, was notable for recording 66 shutouts in his career and being 5'3" tall, the shortest player ever to play in the NHL.
Wouldn't expect it to have been a goalie, that's for sure.
Did they actually call him Roy the Shrimp Waters?
Shrimp, little shrimpy.
Wow, that's funny.
All right. Next one we have going on is which NHL team was named after a Disney movie? This is probably a really easy one.
My favorite childhood movie.
I was probably say I don't even have to add, put up the options here, but we have San Jose Sharks, Pittsburgh Penguins, Arizona Coyotes, and the Anaheim Ducks.
The Anaheim.
If you don't know this movie,
yeah,
if you don't know Anaheim. This movie, this podcast ain't for you, boy.
The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, baby.
Yes, indeed.
Woo!
The club was founded in 1993 by the Walt Disney Company as the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, a name based on the 1992 hockey film The Mighty Ducks. Disney sold the franchise in 2005 to Henry and Susan Samueli, who, along with their then general manager, Brian Burke, changed the name of the team to the Anaheim Ducks for the 2006-07 season.
And then they got brand new jerseys, and then the jerseys they basically incorporated after the sale were garbage.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, thinking about it, if you even if you're not a hockey guy and you don't know any of that, that should still be an easy question because Disneyland is based in Anaheim. So even if you don't know anything about the Mighty Ducks, if you guess what city is in Disneyland, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you have Florida too. You have Disney World and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, could chalk it up to that.
That's true.
All right. Next question we have. What is the only NHL team that has killed a live animal during a hockey game?
What the fuck?
Buffalo Sabres, San Jose Sharks, Nashville Predators, or the New Jersey Devils?
Sounds
Predators.
Sounds like some satanic bull crap. So I'm going to go with the New Jersey Devils just for that reason.
Both are incorrect, as it was actually the Buffalo Sabres.
Okay, so the team that drafted a fake Japanese player from a fake Japanese team and like basically pissed off the league in the process of doing that also killed a live animal at one of their games.
And this was at the third game of the 1975 Stanley Cup Finals, was the legendary Fog game. Due to the unusual heat in Buffalo in May 1995 and the lack of air conditioning in the Buffalo Memorial Auditorium, parts of the game were played in heavy fog that made players, officials, and the pucks invisible to many spectators. To make things even weirder, a bat flew into the arena and flew above and around the players for a majority of the game. That is, until the Buffalo Sabres center, Jim Lorentz, spotted the bat flying across the rink and during a face-off killed it with his stick.
I mean, a fog game and a bat killing, I mean, that's pretty sweet for a Stanley Cup final, if you ask me. So I know that game is pretty legendary. So
no kidding, eh? Wow.
Talk about high sticking on a whole new level. All right, next question we got. Got to add one of these, of course. But who was the first black player in the NHL? Mike Marson, Bill Riley, Ray Newfield, or Willie O'Ree?
It's Willie O'Ree.
Willie O'Ree now getting his number raised to the Raptors in Boston. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, no, it's Willie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In 1958, Boston Bruins African-Canadian Willie O'Ree, up from the Quebec Aces, not knowing that he was effectively blind in his right eye due to being hit with a hockey puck 2 years earlier, managed to keep his injury a secret and appeared in 48 games for the Bruins. O'Ree would later note that racist remarks were much worse in U.S. cities than in Toronto and Montreal, and the fans would yell, "Go back to the South," and "How come you're not picking cotton?" It didn't bother me, he said. I just wanted to be a hockey player. And if they couldn't accept that fact, that was their problem, not mine.
Chris, Josh Lemieux.
Yep, no, that's the first thing I fucking thought of. So,
for those that don't know, what about that are you guys referring to?
There's a history.
There's a big history. Obviously, I live in Kamloops. Josh lives in Kamloops, and
okay.
So we're both at Blazers games a lot, and he sits right down by the net and the Zamboni entrance.
Okay.
And obviously there's chirping, and that's as far as I'm going.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's as far as I would go as well. We'll cap it off at that.
Gotcha. Fair enough. It's a little bit of toxicity. Always gotta have that in a hockey game, right? Just kidding. Don't have that in hockey.
Well, it's never a good rivalry without a little bit of controversy.
No.
Let's leave it there. On and off the ice.
On and off. Fair enough. Next question we got for you guys is, why was Thunderbug, the Tampa Bay Lightning mascot, fired in 2012? Was that for spraying a fan with silly string, stealing a fan's drink, tackling a fan, or sitting in a fan's lap?
I want to say it's for sitting in a fan's lap. I've seen mascots do it, and some people get really uncomfortable.
Oh, true. Chris, what do you think?
The silly string one, I don't think that's an option.
No. Just
because I feel like that's a kind of a shit happens kind of thing. The other one was stealing a drink, right?
Stealing a drink and tackling a fan.
Tackling, okay. I mean, I know you can get dehydrated under those mascot costumes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm just gonna go with he stole someone's drink. You know, he was wanting to get a little buzz while he was being the mascot, so he stole some dude's beer. Let's go with that.
All these damn kids.
Probably.
What's all these kids at these games? Where can a man just get a cold one?
It's like, I quit my job at Chuck E. Cheese because of this.
Was the Chuck E. Cheese mascot beforehand? But you guys are actually both incorrect, as it actually is the silly string option.
Oh, that's stupid.
You got fired for that. On January 17th, 2012, the Tampa Bay Lightning mascot sprayed a Boston Bruins fan with silly string.
Well, that's why.
The man took offense.
They probably deserved it.
Yeah, I know.
The fan took offense and pushed the Thunderbug down. Thousands of people saw it on YouTube. The team did not condone the Thunderbug's actions, and the performer was fired for inappropriate use of the silly string.
Oh my goodness. That's actually really pathetic.
That's pussy shit.
Like, because I mean, I can understand why you'd be fired for like sitting on a fan's lap, but like, silly string, come on.
Welcome to the new age, Tyler.
I mean, to be fair, Boston fans do make a lot of noise, and it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty.
Yeah.
All right, the last question we have for you guys today is which starting goaltender won the Stanley Cup as a rookie? We have Cam Ward, Evgeny Nabokov, Andrew Raycroft, stumbling my words here again, and the last one is Steve Mason.
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Which starting goaltender won the Stanley Cup as a rookie?
Okay, Cam Ward, isn't it?
I don't know if it's him. Because Carolina won the cup in what, 06, 07?
I think so. Yeah.
Would he have been a rookie then? Because he retired a couple years back.
He did play for quite a while.
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to check.
I don't know if it's him. Andrew Raycroft. I know he was with Boston for a while.
But they didn't win a cup with Raycroft, did they?
No, I don't think they won a cup with him. Steve Mason.
He never won a cup.
I don't think he ever won a cup. No.
Between Columbus and Philly, I mean, two organizations that didn't do a whole lot with him there.
Yeah. And then
it's Ward.
Nabokov was the other one?
Yeah, Nabokov and Ward are the last two that you guys have.
And San Jose has never won a cup.
No, so it has to be Ward.
I guess it has to be Ward, yeah. Cam Ward.
You guys are correct because during his rookie campaign in 05 and 06, the
05,
Carolina
06.
Hurricanes goalie Cam Ward not only became the first starting goaltender to win the Stanley Cup as a rookie since Patrick Roy in 86, he also became the first rookie goaltender to both play and record a shutout in the finals since Roy. Tied the rookie record for wins in the playoffs, which is 15, which was previously held by Roy and Ron Hextall, and became the first rookie goalie to win the Conn Smythe Trophy, Stanley Cup Playoffs MVP, since Hextall in 87.
Conn Smythe.
Who writes Smith? That's supposed to be spelled Mismith as Ythe.
I also don't want to be this guy, but I also do at the same time. It's Pat Waugh.
French.
Patois.
Hey.
Rip my life.
It's okay, Greg. Everybody gets that mixed up. It's all right.
He was a hothead anyways.
Yeah, so actually it's good that he wasn't in this chat because I think he'd have just ripped you apart.
Oh, probably 100% would have. But yeah. And that's everyone for today, definitely for sure.
Awesome.
And with all that, thank you guys so much for watching today. Please make sure to follow us on all our social medias with the Rink Masters. And with that, have a good evening, guys.
Goodbye. See you next week.
See you next week.